In a world of dungeons, dragons, and devious DMs, 4 adventurers set out to save the mysterious land of Blaelflow.
I'm Frank Bunty, Dwarven Paladin and all-round badass. I like nothing more than righting wrongs and smiting evil.
I'm Bonarail, a half-elf rogue that'll rob you blind and mess you up.
I'm Lord Sugar, a human wizard noble. I'm rich, I'm better than everyone, and I set fire to everything.
I'm Draco Justice, Dragonborn Monk. For when justice calls, who will answer? I will. I'm Draco Justice.
And I'm Doddy, the resident DM. I'll be throwing everything at these guys, including the kitchen sink. Ooh, a mimic kitchen sink.
Nerd OD&D from the Nod Network. Listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, and wherever else you get podcasts.
Real Steel was one of the last films that Ash and I rented from Blockbusters.
Wow.
That was when I lived with my parents and we had like maybe 1 or 2 nights a week where we spent time with each other, and we decided to spend one of our nights watching Real Steel.
Why not? Why the heck not?
I could tell you several reasons why not, Dan, because it was fucking awful.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Nerd OD podcast with your hosts Reg.
Watch your boyo.
And Dan. Hi.
How do, sir?
Yeah, I'm alright. I'm not too bad. Yeah, it's been a lovely warm day here on the northwestern coast of the United Kingdom.
And it's been bloody marvellous over here in North Wales.
Well, there you go then. That's
one must say.
That's the weather report out the way.
Thank heavens.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, if we weren't able to look out the window like the majority of the people according to social media, then we would never know.
Plus, this weather report will be 2 days out of date.
Well, people might want to know what the weather was like.
It's true.
On Monday, the 19th.
Place it. They need to sort of, yeah, that's true. Because people are going to be listening to this in like hundreds of years. It's going to be like people they're going to dig up old iPods, you know, archaeologists, and they're going to be like, what is this magic thing? And it's still got battery in, obviously, and they're going to have all this amazing history.
It's like when you it's like when you play Shenmue and you actually look at the date when it starts, and then you look at the weather reports, and they actually had the realistic weather reports back to the day of those days.
That's it.
So it's a bit like that.
It's a lot like that, Reg. It's a lot like that.
It is just less Shenmue.
Well, exactly.
But I did manage to shoe in a Shenmue reference.
Yep, and we're only 1.5 minutes in. Well done. Wow.
Excellent. So what you been up to anyway, Squire?
Well, usually that's like a really boring question, isn't it? Because, well, not much, because I've been at home. But now we're free to just run around and breathe on each other and, you know, spread the wonderful virus around so we can all get locked up again. But yeah, I mean, I've tried to still stay safe. I went to a restaurant. That was a big deal. So that was nice. Sat outside in a restaurant. Unfortunately, it was sunny.
Nice.
I'm waiting to walk past a restaurant on a day when it's freezing cold, windy, rain is pouring down, and people are just sat there in their coats, just sitting there eating their food, just like we're going to enjoy this.
Now we're going to enjoy
it. Exactly. But I don't know. What can you do, eh? Yeah. Well, so yeah, I've been to Manchester. I've been to Liverpool. You know, all the places that I've just missed, really. So yeah, it's been lots of fun. But I am devastated, and this is breaking news, Reg. My 2DS XL isn't charging. I can plug it in and I can use it, but the lights are on and everything. As soon as I unplug it, the light starts flashing, going, your battery's nearly dead. And I don't know what it is.
You bought it new as well, didn't you?
Oh yeah, it was new.
Yeah. Can you not chat to Nintendo and be like, oi?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, literally, I say breaking news. Found out in the last 40 seconds that this is the case.
Oh right, okay.
So So yeah, that's a downer.
No, that's a bit pants.
Other than that, but on the plus side, our wonderful Nerd IQ has launched, and I'm very proud of it. I'm very excited to have it finally out there.
It has, and my father-in-law was that excited. I didn't even manage to step one foot in the house before he told me he watched all of it and laughed the entire way through.
Brilliant.
And thoroughly enjoyed it.
Excellent, as you should.
So I was like, oh, nice. So I was going to offer him the chance to go up against me, but I know for a fact he'll smash me on the majority of the stuff. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to bother with that. But I'm going to share that post, a little pic post, and be like, come at me, boyos, and see if anyone I know fancies a challenge.
Do it.
Oh, I will. It's just when it was done, it was work time, so I couldn't really do that because then work would be like, how come you got a chance to stick around on Facebook when we're looking for field engineers, you dickhead? So I thought I'll bide my time.
You're not allowed lunch breaks or anything like that.
Well, my lunch break was a very, very well thought out lunch break.
Okay.
Today I'm obviously the man of the house. So I'm doing all the manly jobs like the washing, the tidying up and stuff. Because I'm at home, I'm forced myself now. Because usually, if like now Ash has gone back to work, like I won't take a lunch break. I'll just power through and just go through it and just like have like a packet of crisps or something and just carry on working because there's like so much to do. But when I've got someone here with me, I'm like I will have a lunch break and I will take like 45 minutes or whatever away from the desk and just chill. But I've been trying to force myself to like get away from the desk for like a little bit of time. So I've literally been putting like washing out and doing like another load and then just tidying up and doing bits and pieces around the house just to make myself feel a bit better and just get away from the desk. And then moving into something I want to talk about later on, but I'm going to just like dive into it. Capcom did their Resi Village showcase.
Oh yes, they did, and they released a demo for like 48 hours or something, didn't they?
Not even that, mate. 8 hours.
It was 8 hours. Okay.
8 hours at a specific time frame.
Right.
So people like over here, we were lucky because it was like from 5 p.m. till 11 p.m. So you might got a chance to have like a little tinker with it because it was only for a half-hour run as well. That was it.
All right. Yeah, and well, that's fair enough. That's an all right length for a demo. That's what I'd expect.
Yeah, but if you're only allowed one run through at it and it's literally 8 hours, you've only got 8 hours to play it. It's a bit grim. You should be able to do like multiple runs of that 30 minutes just to try experience other little bits and pieces you might have forgot about or have a little investigation around and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So that was slightly annoying. But the one thing they did announce, which made me very happy, was Resi 4 VR. So
4?
Like, ooh, yeah. So they're redoing Resi 4 in VR on the Oculus Quest.
Oh, really?
2. Not 1.
Doesn't work on the 1.
Because apparently 1's not fucking big enough. So, yeah, so they're only doing it on 2, but it looks awesome.
Yeah. And guess what? 75% of the Nerd OD cast all have Oculus Quest 1.
1.
1. Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I really, 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 really want to play Resi 4 in VR because I loved Resi 4. And I think it'll be awesome in VR. But it annoyed the piss out of me that it's on Oculus Quest 2. So I'm just like, and I was chatting to Mike and I was like, I really want to play it. And he's like, well, upgrade. And I was like, yeah, but I can't remember the last time I actually pulled the headset out that wasn't to be like, hey, Dad, have a look at this. Or, hey, Lil, you can borrow that for the weekend. It's, I haven't touched it for a millennia. So I'm like, I can't really warrant it when we're looking at buying, like stuff for the house and doing stuff up and whatnot. And then I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, I've just spent another like £200 on a headset. Hope you don't mind. And I was like, I wonder how much the first ones now go for on likes of eBay and stuff. And it turns out they didn't hold their value long at all.
Well, not when the second one's come out and it is that much better.
The thing is, though, it's not a million miles better. It's just a little smidge better.
Yeah, but that's
making
a much better price, wasn't it, when it came out?
Yeah, it was a lot better price.
Yeah.
So that idea was like well out the window. But then I thought, you know what? There's a load of games on the Oculus Quest I really want to play anyway. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not touching it. So then I was like, we've got half hour on dinner. Might have a little rag. I've been talking about loads and it's massively in my head now. So I dusted it off. And then, because I haven't played it in ages, I had to charge it. I was like, I'll hold fire on that. I eventually got around to being able to put on the headset. I was like, oh, I'm going to play first. Like, oh, I've got all these games I haven't touched. Straight to Pistol Whip. Because it was obviously, peeps know it was my game of choice. Yeah. And since I last played, they've updated it loads. So they've got like another like 8 tracks that are all there for free. So you don't have to like, pay for them. It's just all placed on there. They basically done like a like it's not a story. Well, I'll go into the story mode in a minute, but they've got like chapters. So it's like beginning and then like heartbreak, and they've all got their own little story arcs that go through it when you listen to the tunes.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that's awesome. But there's something called like Berserker 2089, and I can't find that anywhere on these list of songs. And I'm like, I really want to play that because that sounds awesome. And then I looked at the top, and on the they've completely changed the UI all over the thing. So I was like, oh, what the hell's that? Oh, campaign. I wonder what the campaign is. And the campaign is another load of completely different tracks. You don't choose anything. It's a story mode with like storyboard cutscenes that go through. And they give you like a load of new weapons to go through. So it's not just like a pistol. You've literally got like rapid fire weapons that come through it. Like the second level on it is you're some soldier dude who gets basically busted up. And you get turned into like a half cyborg. And as you're trying to escape the place you're being held in, you pull out your pistol and you realize it's got no ammo, so it's literally just like a melee based one where people run it and you're like smacking people down to the beat of the tune and stuff, and it's just like, it's phenomenal. It's so good. And by the end of it I was like, why haven't I played this like for so long? It's just so damn fun, and like it genuinely is. And it's like the campaign mode has got so much thought going into it with like the layouts of the level and stuff. It's so fucking good. It's like so good.
And while this is all happening, your phone is ringing off the hook with work.
Yeah. I go back and there's like 60 emails going, Reg, we've been trying to get hold of you. I'm like, sorry about that. I was just pistol whipping peeps in the face. So I've been doing that a lot. That has been a rather enjoyable thing. And speaking of having things back, I spent the entire weekend at the zoo. And it was glorious.
I bet.
So we're members of Chester Zoo, me, Ash and Oliver. And I used to go like literally it was like every weekend, because Ash used to be in work on the Saturday or the Sunday, and I'm like, I have no idea what to do with Oliver because he gets bored in the house like quite easy. I'm like, we'll go to the zoo. And he always used to be like, oh, not the zoo. And you're like, he wasn't asked, just carry me, don't really want to look at animals, I just want to eat the things on the floor. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. They can do this, like carry on, walk around, do stuff. But we went we got like an email coming through saying members can pre-book now for places. And I was like, oh, sound. So I went on and booked like Saturday. And then Ash was like, oh, a couple of my mates want to go on Sunday. He's like, should we get tickets for Sunday? And I was like, yeah, sure, no worries. So bought tickets for Sunday as well, got tickets for Sunday as well. And like a few other dates and like later on this month and whatnot. And then Ash got her rota through when she was in work on Sunday. And I was like, okay, so we won't go this on Sunday. We'll give the tickets to like our other membership mates. And we'll just go on Saturday. But because it's been so long since we last went, like Oliver's grown that much that now he's like, fucking animals, look at the size of that elephant. And like the monkeys.
I thought you were going to say now he's got
my god. No, he absolutely like loves it now because he can sort of get his head around stuff.
Yeah.
So he's just like, honestly, the Saturday was like the funniest and bestest day at the zoo I've ever had. Like he just loved every second of it. We were going past like the monkey houses and I was like, oh, do monkeys live in there? And he's like, woo, 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 making like monkey noises. And we're going past like the lions and he's like, rah, and like making the noises, and we took it away. And then we went to the pub inside there and he tried to steal him a beer. And it was just like, it was such a like a really funny day. And at the end of it, we went to the gift shop and we bought him like a little Chester Zoo truck, like a little like raggy one that's got a little motor in it. So you push it, it keeps going. And it was only like £3. So like, you can have that. And then on Sunday we woke up and the first thing he did is he ran straight to his truck and was pointing to it and was like, I was like, well, your mum is in work, so it'll just be me and you. And he's like, yeah. And like pointing to the truck, and I was like, right, Ash, see how many mates are actually using those tickets, and if there's any spare, me and Oliver will go for like an hour. She was
famous last words.
Yeah, she was like, yeah, no worries. So she was like, yeah, only 3 of them using it, so there's like 2 spare. So I was like, oh, sound. So I went and took Oliver to the zoo, and the first thing he did was went to like this big sand play area you've got there, which is ace. He spent 2.5 hours in that, just literally loving life.
Jeez.
And he was like running around, and I was like, do you want to go see some animals? He was like, nah, I'm gonna play with this. And like those kids burying themselves in the sand, so he was like running over and helping the kids get buried and stuff. And there's like a little mini pirate ship there, so he's like steering the wheel and just literally loving everything inside it. And then eventually I was like, do you want to go see some animals? And he was like, yeah. So I was like, brilliant. So took him out the sandpit, and opposite the sandpit there's like a play area. And he was like, ooh, what have you seen now? So I put him down to see where he was going to run, and he ran straight to the play area, and I was like there for another hour and a half. And I was like, there is animals at the zoo, mate? No, this is cool. And it was like, he absolutely just fucking loved the entire time there. And then I was like, let's go see some animals. So we went off walking. And thankfully, because you're not allowed in like the indoor houses still, it's like everything's outside. But because the weather's so nice, like all the animals were out, just literally lapping it all up. So we got to see literally like everything. Like the jaguar was out, which is very rare. We got
you never see the jaguars, never.
No, I was gonna say they're always hidden, but he was just literally out and about. Like the red pandas were out. He loved seeing the red pandas. He was laughing his head off just looking at the faces. And he was literally spotting everything. And then the boats went past, and there was someone on the boat, and he was like, just like, go on then, we'll go on the boat. So like we started walking towards the boat, and I was like, oh, that queue looks pretty big. But he was like adamant, like so excited. And I was like, I wonder how long he'll stand in the queue for. Let's see. So we got to the end of this queue, and there's a sign there. It's like, this from 45 minutes from here. And I was like, oh boy, this is going to be a testing time. And he was as good as anything. And I thought he was just going to be like, I want to go over there. I want to do this. Let's do this. Like a normal kid would be like, yeah, I'm going to be naughty now just because I'm bored of waiting. Let's dick about and do this. And he was sound like all the way through it. I was like, are you ready? And he was like, yeah. And we went to go on our boat. And I was like, this is going to be like a fun 5-minute boat ride. We'll just enjoy it, and then we'll go get some ice cream and we'll have a play. And as the guy pushed us off, he was like, it's more like 20 minutes, mate. And my heart just sank because, like, Oliver, but for the folks at home don't, if you literally sit him on your knee, after about 2 minutes, he's like, ooh, what's that over there? I need to get off that. And going around on a boat where there's stuff everywhere, I was like, oh no. And I was like, oh God. And then the guy was like, oh, if he gets up and starts running around, there's cameras everywhere, we will stop the boat and we'll have to escort you off. And I was like, right. Oh,
that's fine. I won't be embarrassed. I would actually prefer you do that at this point.
So I was like, right, okay, how are we going to do this? And I was like, come sit on my knee, mate. And I thought, the secret weapon is if he starts getting bored and wants to look around, I'll be like, oh, have you seen this on my phone? Because he loves playing my games on my phone. Yeah. So I'm like, sound, I'll just do that. And he didn't. He sat on my knee, and he was loving every second of it. And like that 20 minutes went by so fast. But my face the entire time, I reckon if you've seen the cameras, I was like holding on to him that hard to be like, ooh, it's going to be all right. But he was like, ooh, what's that over there? Ooh, and like trying to make duck noises and like the monkey noises and stuff. And it was such a really, really fun time. And then this morning I got him up for, so we could go to work, both me and Ash. And as soon as he came downstairs, he spotted his truck and was just like, yeah. And I was like, we can't today, mate. And he was like, oh, and he was like genuinely upset that he couldn't go to the zoo, and it was heartbreaking because he loved it so much. He's had such a fun time the past 2 days, and I'm like, yeah, that's it now. Like we haven't got tickets again until like the 3rd of May or something stupid. So I'm like, yeah, you've got like a good 2 weeks without going now. I'm really sorry, but yeah, he absolutely buzzed off it. So that was like a really nice moment. And especially because Ash's mates were talking about Alton Towers and going just like literally just doing CBBS. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I don't think Oliver will literally have the attention span to stand in a queue to wait to go on like David Williams's like Gangster Granny or whatnot.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just don't think he will. And now after seeing him at the zoo, I'm like, you know what? He would be well up for it. Like, he would happily wait because there'll be things there to distract him and keep him occupied, like as you're queuing up to do stuff. Like, I genuinely believe he would love it, but at the same time, I'm like, do you really want to spend like 53 quid just to go to see BB's Land? Because if I was there, I'd want to be like, just need to nip back the car and
I'll go on the same day.
Smiler.
Ash and her girly friends can walk around and see BB's with the kids, and we'll go off onto Smiler and Wickerman.
Yeah, you see, if we did that, both Keely and Ash would both be like, right, okay, we're going to take it in turns now. Right, okay, you do the first part in there, and then we'll do the second part. So if you don't mind doing like, see BB's Land with me for like a good 4 hours looking after 3 kids, I'll be game for that. At least it'll be a fun video for the pod.
True.
2 nerds, 3 kids, CBBS. Oh dear. Could be quite an entertaining one.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one Alton Towers video I think we've never done, so it might work.
It could, it'd be. You know what? I think it would be quite entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
I might run it past them and see what they say. Well, we've got to get some content somewhere, son.
Exactly.
So, but apart from that, today I was very excited. So the peeps in the nose do know that Superstore Season 6 is on ITV2 in the UK now.
Oh, is
Started
it?
today.
Oh, that's brilliant, because literally about 15 minutes before we started podding, we finished the last episode that's on Netflix.
Oh, amazing. Have you watched it? Isn't it amazing?
It's really good. Yeah, it's
so good. It's
it started off, and it's same with all pilots. They're never quite, they're never brilliant. They're always just a little bit cheesy. You can see how they're trying really hard. And we watched it. She was like, I like that. I was like, yeah, it was fine. I could see exactly what they're going for. They're sort of like, it's The Office, but it's in a supermarket. We've not done that before. And absolutely, as it goes on, it took on its own thing, which was great. Yeah. And it definitely got a lot better. And like it's one of those that sometimes the side characters are almost as good as the main characters. So
100%,
and they're constantly changing them. There's constantly new staff coming in and stuff. So this keeps it fresh. I was saying to Cheryl, like, okay, slight spoilers for the series for people who haven't seen it, but it's kind of obvious from the first episode that that's the storyline they're going for. But the 2 main characters, it's Ron LaFlamme from Silicon Valley, and it's Ugly Betty from Ugly Betty. And basically they both work at the store. He's an uptight white guy, she's like this sassy Latina, and they hate each other at first, but of course down the line they're going to end up liking each other, and then stuff happens. And I think they were clearly going for, I think, like I know you haven't really watched much of The Office, but again with that it was pretty obvious that there was like a Jim Pam romance thing that they were building up for like 4 or 5 seasons.
I know from the UK one that
same goes, exactly, same characters. So with the Office one, it was really well done. You could see the like, I know they're actors, but they looked like they were a couple that they put it across really well. But we got to the end of the final episode of the penultimate season of Superstore, and the 2 characters sort of they have a moment, and they've been together for about 1.5 years at this point. They get together and they have a kiss and a hug or whatever. And I said to Shell, I think that's like the 3rd time maybe in the entire series that you've seen them actually be affectionate to each other, and they're supposed to have been together for ages. it's almost like they just, it was a bit of an afterthought. They got together, it was done, and that was it from then on. And great, they referenced it every now and again that they're living together and they're raising her kid together and stuff like that. But I don't know, it felt a bit off. I think the thing is, it is far more sitcom-y than something like The Office, which isn't bad. You know, it's got its place. It's a bit sort of, you know, goofy in places, a bit wacky, but still really, really good. Like I really do like it's one of the better things we've discovered on Netflix, I think, in terms of sitcoms, because there's a lot of bad sitcoms on Netflix. I
can imagine.
Yeah, I mean, there's all these classic ones. Obviously, you know, everyone watches Friends till they're bored of it. We rewatched How I Met Your Mother, which, you know, once you put aside all the problematic stuff about Barney, it's still pretty good. But then there's so much of the original sitcom stuff for Netflix is absolute garbage. Have you seen I mean, you've probably not seen it. I've not watched an episode, but I've seen the trailer for the new Jamie Foxx sitcom. And there's a new sitcom with Kevin James in, where he is like the head of a NASCAR pit crew.
God.
It's like, I don't know. They clearly, I mean, Jamie Foxx and Kevin James doing sitcoms, that's a pretty big deal. They've paid them a lot of money. But they just look so poor, low, you know, really low budget. They look like, and this is a reference only Reg is going to get here. What was the name of that sitcom in the States that we had on? Like
Tyler Perry in the House or something.
Yeah, it was what the heck was it? It was a Tyler Perry sitcom. He wasn't in it, was he? But it was like yeah.
In fact, if you go through I need to have a word with you about this as well, because that really annoyed me. I was going to say, if you have a look through your holiday videos, there's an advert for it on one of the things.
There is. I'm just having a look now.
However,
House of Pain
videos. That's it. Loads of your videos now, private videos.
Only the clips. I just didn't want the clips on there anymore.
I needed to show off my hole-in-one.
Okay, well, it's in the video. Everything that's on the clips is in the video.
Yeah, but I was chatting on cause part of obviously one of the Florida groups. It's like an enclave suite one that I must have joined when we went for like the honeymoon.
Okay,
I completely forgot. And then I was laughing because like, what's the worst thing you've done in Florida when you've been in Florida? So I put up the post of me being in the hot tub. For that video, because that clip's still showing. So I was like, showing that one. And I was like, however, the best thing I've done is, and then I went to find the clip for the hole-in-one. I was like, well, you son of a bitch. And then
you could literally have just text me and I'd have gone, all right, on private. And then I didn't want to delete him because I didn't want to lose the views. But I also was just like, I want the channel, my channel, because I was thinking I might start using it again for my own personal stuff. So I just sort of cleaned it up and just went, let's just have this stuff on there. So I got rid of it. Well, like I say, hid a bunch of stuff, but that's fine. I'll make them whatever they are, not private, the one where you can see them if you got the link. I can't remember, but I'll do that.
Thank you.
All right, fine.
Because I need that. That's like one of my crowning glories, and you took it away from me.
I think it's in the video.
Full main video, and
if
I've got it on DVD, and I've got pictures to show it, but I don't have that 20-second clip that people will watch because they won't like skip forward to something.
Okay, yeah, all right, that makes sense.
So I just need to be like, look at this.
Yeah. By the way, so House of Pain, which was this. I keep going off on random sort of tangents from, I know you want to talk about Superstore, but the Tyler Perry stuff is insane, right? Tyler Perry, who's this huge star in the States, like he does this character called Medea, who is this old lady basically. So he cross dresses as this old lady and has all these catchphrases, and they seem to love her over in America. And he's now an absolute, like, from what I understand, if he's not a billionaire, he's very close. Owns his own studio, everything, just massive. And he pitched these sitcoms to the network he went to. I think it was USA. And he said, right, here they are. I'm going to fund the pilot, and in fact, I think he funded the first season of 10 episodes, something like that. But if you renew it, then you are guaranteeing us another 100 episodes or something like that. And they did amazing. And suddenly he then right, great. So each season after that is about 60 episodes per season, because they were just right, let's just run it into it. And they did tons of them. And then they had a spin-off of House of Pain, which, what the heck was it? I can't remember. Meet the Browns or something like that. No, they're just the Browns. I think the Browns. It is Meet the Browns. The Browns is the Family Guy spin-off, right? Cleveland show.
Yes.
Cleveland
show.
The
Cleveland show.
Meet the Browns was the spin-off of this. But anyway, I was looking at his IMDb and whatever. House of Pain had another spin-off. Once that got cancelled, Hulu picked it up. And then basically they moved to a retirement community in Florida, and it became The Pains. So it's still going.
Oh my days. So, that's like 8 years.
Yeah. In fact, no, House of Pain is still going. Jeez Louise. This is crazy. Anyway, the point was, what the heck was the point?
This shows are bad and
they're as bad as that. It was just so, just the people in it are making a ton of money, but they are really just phoning it in. They're putting the minimal budget in just to make this show. And just go and have a look at the trailers if you search for Kevin James. I can't remember what it's called, but it's obvious it'll be there. Watch the trailer for this NASCAR show, and then watch the trailer for this new Jamie Foxx show as well. And they're just so poor. I don't understand why all the money Netflix has and all the quality shows they have, they can't seem to get a sitcom right. Someone will probably message us and correct us here, and there is one that I'm missing, but I don't know. But at least they seem to be buying some decent sitcoms, like Superstore. So I didn't even realize that was on ITV2.
Yeah, it's literally started tonight. It's on every single night, weekday night.
Great.
Now, just to blitz through the series.
Brilliant, because there's only about 12 episodes this season.
Yeah, that's not brilliant. It's sad.
Yeah. They just wanted to get over 100 episodes. That was it. As soon as you get over 100 episodes in the States, you can syndicate the show, so you can sell it to all the local TV stations, so they can just run it, ad infinitum and just constantly. And they make tons of money from that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I can imagine, to be fair. It is weird, though, because I'm not going to go into it too much, but this one's obviously set now, so it's the coronavirus is massive, all in it, and it's so weird because usually when you watch shows where pandemics hit and stuff, and you just see people ragging stuff off shelves and arguing over toilet roll and starting fights and people not doing what they're supposed to do, you're that's a bit far-fetched. And then when you watch this, you're actually, you know what? People were fighting for toilet roll. There wasn't nothing left. People were hiding stock. People were shouting at each other for not having masks and stuff.
I read that was the case, because I thought, as we were coming up to the end of this series, and I saw that there was only 5 on Netflix, I checked, and I saw that there was a final season. I was like, oh, great, we're going to have to wait ages for it. And that they did, write the pandemic into it. And usually, I hate that. There's been so many that have tried to write them into the shows, and it just... You want to just forget about it, don't you? You don't want to sit and watch a TV show that is just, reminding you of everything that's happened in the last year. But this feels like the one show that it would work. Yeah. Because it does just well. Exactly. There's a show on Amazon Prime called This Is Us that Shell used to like. Yeah. And I say used to like because it's a fairly good idea. It's basically, it follows this one family from the 1960s or 50s when the parents or the grandparents, as they are in present day, were growing up, and then they meet and stuff, and it just flashes back between different sort of eras in them and their kids' lives and their grandkids' lives and stuff. So it's really clever because it's the same cast right the way through, and they just sort of age them where they can. Obviously they've got kid versions and adult versions, but and the last season ended with this big cliffhanger of something that was happening, and then the next season started, and it picked up exactly where the last one had left off, and then gave this little montage of the following weeks. And literally in that montage was oh, there's a pandemic. Oh, we better all start wearing masks. Oh, now we can't go and see our mum who's sick at home. And it was like, no, okay, you clearly, that was not planned. There was absolutely no intention to have that in. You didn't know anything about this. You had this story planned, and then suddenly you've gone, do you know what? We better write in the pandemic. And it annoyed me because I just don't really like the show, but the fact that it annoyed Shell to be like, yeah, I'm not watching this anymore. I don't want to watch this. So that's four seasons worth of time down the drain now because they just want to be current. I don't know.
Yeah, it is weird. Like you said, I'm complete agreement. I hate the fact that when people start doing shows based around like current events and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like don't, because it time restricts it as well so much. So like even like now we're going through it. So like, do you really want to be reminded? And you go back, like we go forward like 10 years, and I'd be like, oh, I'll ever get onto this. Like we used to love watching the show, and then all of a sudden like that hits. I'm like,
that's exactly what it's going to be. It's
not good.
You know, pretty much every show, every like live sort of show, like panel comedy show, like look something like Taskmaster, where they're sitting 20 feet apart. There's no audience, but they've sort of dubbed it over. And have you seen any, like it kind of works? I'm used to it. It's fine. I can. It doesn't really take much away from how good.
No, I suppose the nice thing is it's the pre-recorded bits you want to watch anyway of what they were doing out and about and doing stuff.
Yeah, and I don't really notice that they're not they haven't got a live audience there because it's genuine laughter. You can apply for tickets to go and watch it in a theatre in London like a few months before they air the show, and they record the laughter and then they put it over the top. So it's real laughter. It is a real audience. They're just not there watching it being recorded live.
Right. Okay.
But if you go on YouTube or on the Taskmaster Instagram and you watch any of the outtakes, there's no laughter to it. And it's really weird and eerie, and it almost makes me think how difficult it must have been for them in the studio to do it because they've got no audience to play off. So it's really bizarre. It's very well done. But there's the worst ones really are the US sitcoms, US like game shows and stuff. So things like The Masked Singer, and there's this new game show called Cherries Wild, right? It's hosted by Jason Biggs, okay, from American Pie, the guy who a pie, and it's basically how Tipping Point is one of those giant arcade machines that pushes the coins. They've got a giant fruit machine, and they have to answer questions, and then they get to spin the wheels, and then they have to get all cherries, and then they win like $250,000 or something like that. But first thing is, it's sponsored by Pepsi Wild Cherry. Okay, the entire show is literally a commercial for Pepsi Wild Cherry flavor. Not exaggerating, all the way through. They're like it's like they're chanting like cherry, cherry. And Jason Biggs keeps going, oh, yeah, that good old Pepsi Wild Cherry. Thanks, Pepsi. Hey, do you want a Pepsi? It is absolutely insane. Wow. Again, you go to YouTube or watch some of it. But the fruit machine is digital. It's TV screens. So it's not a real, what are the odds of them landing on the right thing? At the end, in small print, it says the odds and the outcomes of this game are predetermined. So the producers have gone, yeah, we're going to let them win. Yeah, we're not going to let them win. Like they know exactly what's going to come on each spin. So there's no, there's no gameplay to it. It's insane. But anywho, the point is, they filmed. They've got a bunch of people in to film an audience, right? So there's loads of reactions of people going, oh, what? Oh no, yay, I love these guys. Whoa, I hope they win. And then there's loads of them all just sitting together cheering, and there's bits of them chanting Wild Cherry. And they just edit it in with it. But the problem is as well, they're all models, they're all actors and actresses in Hollywood. So they're all ridiculously good looking. It's not a normal audience. It's just clearly people sat there being paid to act. So it's really, really, really over the top. It's just such a weird, bizarre thing. And then with The Masked Singer, they're just using the last season, or at least 2 seasons ago's audience reaction shots. So they just keep cutting into people. So there's shots of people there cheering and going, "Oh, I wonder who's behind the mask," that weren't there, were there like 2 years ago. So it's just
sitting at home, just like watching a new season.
And like, oh yeah, there's me. Well, what if somebody in the audience died? You've got this dead person watching. I don't know, just some B-list Hollywood star take off a giant fluffy costume.
Well, it's more the line of like you'd be watching, if you and Shah were watching it at home,
yeah,
and then like all of a sudden you appear on it, but like. It might have been before you were with Shell, or like if I watched it with Ash and then she was like, "What are you? Where were you then?" Like, no, this wasn't this season. I swear, I haven't been to see it. I'm trying to get out of it. There's proof on the telly, Dan, that you were at fucking the London studios while this is being filmed. Like, but I wasn't.
Yeah, that's it.
It's like such an awkward way to try and get out of it if they don't be like, "By the way, guys, the audience reactions are pre-recorded from 2 seasons ago." I'm like, right, thank you for doing that.
That's it. Have you watched that show though, The Masked Singer? Have you watched anything of it?
We watched season 1. We haven't watched any more after that.
It's just I hate the reveals. They're the only bits I've watched. Every now and again, I'll see one trending on YouTube, and I've gone like, and it's the guy from Aha revealed as what's his name, Morton Hackett, revealed as being the teddy bear or whatever, and he turned out he sang "Take on Me," so I was like, "Oh, that looks interesting." So I watched the reveal, and it's just it's so over-egged. Yeah. The way it takes them about a minute to take off the head, and then it keeps going to shots of the judges reacting and the audience going, "Oh, who is it?" And then they take off the helmet, and then they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's." Like, you have no idea. 1, you're sitting 20 feet away from this person, so you can barely see their face. 2, there's no way you know what the lead singer of Aha looks like. So I'm sorry, you absolutely knew who that was, like before any of this happened. And the fact that they even have to go, "Oh, it's Morton Hackett from Aha." I just hate it so much. It's so fake. But anyway, sorry. But the whole point of this was, again, another sidetrack, but those things are weird now because you can tell that the audiences aren't real, that they're just like these weird virtual audiences. But in a year, 2, 3 time, you might end up watching a rerun of Taskmaster or some daytime talk show or whatever, where everyone's sitting like 20 feet apart from each other, and it's just going to remind you of this horrible, depressing time. Or they're going to have all these Zoom interviews, and they're like, "Do you remember that time when we used to be happy watching a 480p stream of some Hollywood actor doing an interview on the Graham Norton show?" I'm like, yeah, that was weird, wasn't it? It's very weird. It's true. I just don't want to be reminded of it.
Fair enough.
Right.
Yeah, it's not as though it's going to go down in the history books or anything, is it? It's just a passing phase.
Exactly.
Mental. But there's some good stuff that's coming out of it.
Okay.
I think. I don't know. I was just trying to. Oh, you know what? We have got some good news about, Dan. You know how we loved, and I mean, like one of the best films ever made was Real Steel.
Right. Yeah. The Rock'em Sock'em Robot movie starring Hugh Jackman.
Well, we can no longer say that, Dan, because
of the Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie. I saw this.
Yeah, they're doing a Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie with Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
Oh boy! And the thing is, it's as though they've watched Real Steel and gone, they want to be us, right? So let's just do the exact same story.
Yeah.
Because it features what was it? It's basically about how a father and son bond over a fighting robot. And how they want to make it go.
That is the story of Real Steel, isn't it?
Well, that's what you think, but it's actually the story of this. And yes, it is the story of Real Steel. That's why they've literally gone, let's just recast and rename it.
Yeah. I'm not even sure I've seen it, but I think I've seen enough of it that I know that, it's him and his daughter or something, isn't it? I don't know.
Real Steel was one of the last films that Ash and I rented from Blockbusters.
Wow. Amazing.
That was when I lived with my parents and we had maybe 1 or 2 nights a week where we spent time with each other, and we decided to spend one of our nights watching Real Steel.
Why not? Why the heck not?
Oh, I could tell you several reasons why not, Dan, because it was fucking awful.
Good old Blockbuster, eh?
I know. It's a shame they're non-existent now.
No, there's every now and again you hear that meme about people saying, you remember you used to walk into Blockbuster and you would spend you spend longer than the movie actually lasts around Netflix. Going, what am I going to watch? Maybe this or this, looking at the back of the boxes, putting them back, walking around. But we do that with Netflix.
You do.
You end up flicking through so many things on Netflix. What do I want to watch today? All right, maybe after spending half an hour, maybe I'm just going to go and check out Amazon. Let me see what new they put on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Although, like you're saying, you can't buy snacks from there. And the other fun thing was I used to go and peruse the games as well, which you can't do now. Look at the back of the boxes of the games and stuff, which I used to love doing. And when you rented a game out, you were very, very, very lucky you'd get another game inside it as well as that one. The amount of times that me and Dave would go to Blockbusters, rent out a game for the original Xbox,
right,
and just have a disc put in there for no reason. So we'd go and borrow Ghost Recon, Island Thunder, and then we had Sega Rally put in it.
Nice.
Sega GT, sorry. And then the second time around, we had another rally game put in, Rally Sport Challenge, which turned out to be amazing. And then one other time we got Jet Set Radio Future.
Oh.
And one of the other times we got Virtua Fighter 5 or something, and that's when our luck ran out. We had nothing else after that. But I was just remember oh, right, okay, so if I keep this disc, will anyone mention it? No, right, because it shouldn't have been put in the first place, so that's good. So I had a load of free games, and then when I came to work at game, I'd just put it in a dummy box and be like, can I trade this in?
Classic.
Fun times.
Yeah.
Fun times. Yeah.
Do you remember every now and again if someone came up with a game that was priced wrong? Let's say a game was priced at $4.99 instead of the $19.99 it was supposed to be priced up at. And you would go, no, soz. And they'd be like, you have to sell me this. And you'd be like, no, we don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was in game. I even texted you to say, should I buy this for $4.99? Should I buy Assassin's Creed Origin on the PlayStation 4 for $4.99? And I know, it's $5. It's not a lot, but I bought a bunch of other stuff. I've also got Jedi thingy. What's it called? The Star Wars new one.
Fallen Order.
Fallen Order. Yeah, not Jedi. Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order. Yeah, I bought that.
Nice.
And
such a fucking good game.
Dead or Alive 6. Are we on 6? That was a $5. And I loved the Dead or Alive games, so I was like, that's a $5's worth.
They are playing games.
And Uncharted 4, which I know it's generally been between $5 and $10 in most places, but I figure I've got 1, 2, and 3 now, so now I've got 4. So I'd already bought a bunch of stuff, and I got bored of Assassin's Creed games. I really liked 2. I quite liked 3, and it started to sort of, was it? No, not 3, number 4. I can't remember, but I went off them anyway. I think the last one I played was Syndicate, the London one, and it was all right, but I went off them, and I know they went a bit off the boil with the whole, when we played them at EGX, was it Odyssey, the sort of the 300 one, which it was far more focused on these massive battles where there'd be 100 people to fight, yet none of them would attack you, except for the one that you were supposed to kill. So it was just, I don't know, it wasn't Assassin's Creed to me. So I asked you if it was worth getting, if it was back to how it was, and you insisted it's worth giving a go. So I took it up and they were like, oh, no, it's 20 quid. I was like, oh, there's a bunch out. They're all a £5. And he goes, oh, yeah, no, hold on. He went off, came back and goes, yeah, okay, no worries. And did it for a £5. I was like, boom, yeah.
Oh, nice.
There we go. So
see how times have changed.
Exactly.
I used to love it as well when they used to be like, I want to speak to your manager. I'm like, that's me tonight. And you're not having it, so fuck off.
Yeah.
It was glorious.
Them's were the days. And, related to games purchases, I was starting to worry that I read lots of conflicting articles about the fact that the PlayStation Vita and PlayStation 3 store, though I'm less interested in that.
This is good news, isn't it?
So, yeah, they were the PlayStation 3, the PSP, and the PS Vita stores, online stores, were all set to close down between, I think, next month and August. And I read the first article I read about it. I think I saw some headlines saying it. And then eventually I went to read an article and it said, yeah, not only are they shutting down, but you're not going to be able to download anything after that. And I was like, well, no, that's not right. Like, you've paid for these games. Even if you can't buy any more, you should still be able to download them at some point. And I had a Google, is there any way of downloading them in advance and storing them? Or how much is it for me to get another memory card? And, and then every other article was like, oh, no, you'd still be able to download everything. I was like, okay, that's fine. I just need to, between now and August, I need to have a look at what games I want to buy, because then, it's done. Whatever I've got is what I've got. One annoying thing is you can't go on or at least I can't find out how, I don't think you can go on the Vita store on a PC now, on a browser.
No, you can't.
You can only do it through the Vita. So, looking for stuff on sale is a nightmare. Plus, it crashes so much. For some reason, the Wi-Fi on Vitas just cuts out left, right, and center. It's terrible. So, yeah, I'm going to have to try and fiddle around with that anyway. But then they announced a few hours ago that they've changed their mind. And Reddit seems to be putting it squarely on Xbox fanboys rather than PlayStation fanboys. All the Xbox fanboys going, oh, well, Microsoft would never do that. And look, you can still buy games from the original Xbox now on the Xbox, on the brand new one. So they're all like, yeah, this is because of us. So, okay, if it is, thank you, Xbox people. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to buy anything that's full price because they're overpriced. But they're just not doing sales anymore. Every time there's a sale, it's always PS4 stuff, and some PS5 stuff, PSVR, nothing for the Vita anymore. So, I don't know. What is the point?
I think that might change now that they're keeping the stores and stuff open.
Hopefully.
I think the long plan was to get rid, so don't bother people buying a load of games like you were going to do, and then all of a sudden not being able to download them and stuff.
I would have almost rather they shut it down and just went, all right, final week, everything's half off or something. Just give us your money, because we know we're not going to get it past this date, so just give us whatever little money you want. Let's set everything to pay what you want.
That would be awesome. Like minimum of £1, but just go
That's
crazy.
It. Let's do a U2.
Exactly. I think that would go down really well. And you know what? If you're going to not being able to have the ability to play it anyway, why not just go mental? Because people will literally buy 30 games.
Yeah.
And then just that sound. And they've got an extra 30 quid where they wouldn't have had anything previously. And those guys are probably going to play 90% of those games. It's just because it's so cheap. You're like, yeah, fuck it, go on. I'll have another beat game for £1. Yeah, go on. That looks like a crazy JRPG. I'll have that. Perfect. Boom, sorted. But
exactly.
Full well you never actually play it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the case with quite a lot of the games I ended up buying for the Vita over the years. But it is a really nice console. While the Nintendo stuff just, I don't know, it's got that little bit more appeal. There's a lot more mainstream console-like games on the Vita. So it's still got its place. Yeah.
Well, the nice thing is, though, if your 2DS XL does pack in, you can buy a Switch.
Yeah, apart from the fact I've got 40 games on the 3DS that I spent a lot of money. Well, actually, I didn't spend a lot of money. I'm not sure I've spent more than about 60 quid on games over the course of the last 12 months.
Nice.
I'm quite the bargain hunter, Reg.
I can safely say the same.
Fair enough.
I've not, but at the same time, I've not bought any games. So that's probably why I can say that. Maybe.
There you go.
which is a shame. But
yeah, but you spent a heck of a lot more on Switch games.
Yeah. In fact, actually, you know what? Yeah, I have bought games because I bought games fresh for the Switch.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, and we're on the final level of. I just thought we've been suckered into loads of different shows. So obviously, like WandaVision started, we watched that, and then we're like, right, when that finishes, we're going to literally do Mario and like finish that off, and then Caps and Winter Soldier and Falcon started, and I was like, ooh. So then our usual game night then stopped, and it was like, yeah, we'll play it at some point, and then we started Line of Duty. And we're like, right, we need. There's a Circle, so we're like every single night was Circle night. So we're like, yeah, we can't because we're watching Circle. When that finishes, we'll finish off Mario.
And now you're watching the American Circle, no?
And no, we didn't go that low. No, we've just started watching. Like I said last week, we were watching Line of Duty. So we started watching that. We're now on season 3 of it. So we got slightly addicted to that. It's just that show is great.
Has it always been this popular though? Because I've heard so much stuff about it just from this last season.
This last season has gone like the last 3 seasons. I think 2 seasons have just blown up massively. But I think it's because the likes of Gogglebox has made it big. Because Gogglebox does like a good 15-minute segment on it, an entire part, which. Annoyingly, me and Ash used to watch because, you know what? It's 5 seasons in. We're never going to watch it.
So we'll
watch it and be like, ah. So now when you see a character pop up, you're like, yeah, I know what's going on with you. So that's slightly annoying. But apart from that, it's if you've not watched it, Dan, it's a cracking show, and each season's only 5 episodes long. So it's not even it's a big ask. It's 5 hours.
Yeah, fair enough.
That is good. And I think Mark's now on season 2, I think, of 24.
Oh, he did it.
Yeah, he stuck with it, and yeah, he's a Bauer boy.
Okay,
he's a Bauer boy.
Obviously.
So, and the worst thing is, right? So he got massively hooked on Walking Dead after it all, season 10 or 9, whatever, had finished. Him and his missus were just like, we need something new to watch, and he's got a watch list of loads of different shows. That me, Mike, and the other lads would start recommending to him, and he'd be like, "Yeah, we'll start working our way through these." And he was like, "Yeah, so we got bored of looking through that list, so we decided I was going to watch The Walking Dead." And I was like, "Mate, 9 years I've been telling you to watch the fucking Walking Dead, and you've been like, no, it's a zombie thing. I'm not really bothered about it." And he was like, "Well, no, you haven't." I was like, "I have." I was like, specifically, even when you went, you know what, you can talk about it with Mike because I'm never going to watch it. And we talked about, the Negan scene and stuff. And he was like, "Oh, right, okay." Never once went, "That's a good recommendation, Reg." And then as soon as you finished season 1 of 24, he was like, "You know what, Reg, it's about time you recommended a good show to me." And I was like, "You son of a bitch." The past 10 years, I've been recommending films and games and TV shows for you. And you've never once gone, "Yeah, cheers for that recommendation. That was great." And then the one time he does it, I was like, "Mate, everything you fucking watch, I recommend." And I was like, "Why haven't you done me before?" But yeah, he's massively distracted. He's it is weird though. It's really outdated. I was like, it's not that outdated. Some of the stuff that they do in it really is. Now when you think of today's tech and stuff, I was like, well, it is an old show, but it's a freaking great show.
Yeah, I don't feel like that takes me out of it at all. Even seeing them on old flip phones and stuff like that, or Jack's got his PDA, and it looked amazing, all the stuff it used to do back then. Yeah. Now it just looks absolutely terrible.
It's weird because I've not watched it for millennia, so when you hear about stuff like that, you're like, "Oh, are you?" It's so weird, isn't it, when you think about how advanced we have come so quick. Yeah, it's weird, but I love it.
Yeah, but it stuff like Star Trek's worse. Look at any of the Star Trek series, and you're just like, "Yeah, we're past this now." It looks so. That's the problem with stuff like Discovery. They've tried to. It's dated back before the original series of Star Trek, Yeah, they've got to try and make it look futuristic now and not look like the old stuff, but still have some of the, the look and charm of the original. So it's this really fine line. It's bizarre, but I don't know.
Yeah. And also some more good news. Speaking of stuff, have you seen that the Flash movie's now finally entered production?
Wow, really?
So, yeah, yesterday he tweeted. This morning he tweeted up. Say the director, that Andy Muschietti or whatever his name is. I'm going to say it wrong. Muschietti. He tweeted going like, "Here we go," and it was day one of production, and he shows the new logo of the Flash like going into visualization. So yeah, that's finally moving forward, and now it's finally moving forward. Cyborg's decided he wants to be part of it now, but only if Warner Brothers apologise. I'm just like, it's just like, I can't wait for the Cyborg to be just destroyed in this, and then them to bring out one from the Earth 2 or a different Earth. Because just can't wait. Seeing as it's going to the Flashpoint, it's like the easiest way to be like, yeah, sorry, bye Ray Fisher, or whatever your name is. It's about time you go.
It is Ray Fisher.
Yeah. Frustrating, but you know what? I'm quite looking forward to that now after watching Justice League and actually like not thinking of Grant Gustin as like the Flash and doing that sort of stuff. I think
I'm far enough removed from that stuff now.
Yeah, I think I'm actually quite warm towards it now, so it should be quite an interesting one.
Yeah, I'm definitely more than I was, but I don't know. I seem to be in a minority of I kind of liked the Flash. Like everyone seems to like him more after watching the Zack Snyder cut, but I quite liked him from the original. He was one of the better things that was in the original one.
See, I was so into the Arrowverse.
Yeah, I know.
All I need to do is take a look at him, and I was like, that stupid fucking mustache. I just hated him. But now I'm like, you know what? There's no reason to be like that. Like, just enjoy it for the character. Don't enjoy it for the actor that's in it. And that's what you got to do.
Fair enough. True.
So, but yeah, I did enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that's like. And again, something new to watch.
Yeah. If we get to go back to cinemas, that would be lovely.
I'm pretty sure by the time that's out in like 2022 or 3, whenever the hell it's going to get released, we will be back out.
Yeah, this will have blown over. We'll have all been to the Winchester.
And the nice thing is, you'll actually be able to wear some beautiful new treads, which actually come out tomorrow or yesterday if you're listening to this, made from Adidas. And these are some beautiful, weirdly created Towley trainers. So, Towley from South Park?
Right, yes, okay. Yeah, you mentioned this to me.
Yeah, so for some reason, I don't understand why 420 is a huge thing in America. Like, it's just, now it's legal in most states. Why do they have to celebrate it in
it's
that
just
sort of style? Like the whole making weed legal is what I'm talking about. Sorry, in certain states, it was released on that day, wasn't it, on 420, and now they like celebrate it massively.
It's something to do with some group used to smoke every day at 20 minutes past 4.
Right.
And then 420 became the code, and then it became the 20th of April, supposedly, something like that. I don't know.
Right. Okay.
I can't say I'm particularly well versed on.
No, I was going to say we are probably the worst. Even though like we listen to Kevin Smith a hell of a lot, and he's one of the biggest stoners in the world.
Yeah.
I'm like so far away from it that I have no idea when they start talking about some of the stuff that they do when they go to these cons and stuff. I'm like, what they doing with what? Right, okay. I presume that's just a drug thing, and that's the way I stick with it now. But this is the one drug paraphernalia I think I might like. So Adidas are releasing Towley from South Park trainers to celebrate 420. And they're 70 quid, but you've got to, the only way you can purchase them is if you go on the app. So it's too late to do it now if you're listening. Yeah. Because you get entered into a raffle and you get like basically notified that you can complete your purchase from them like yesterday. But there's 2 versions. that in fact, I didn't even know about. So you've got the one where he's got his normal eyes, and the material is all a towel-like material, and he's got sort of cartoon eyes, and the purple like towelly. And like on the tongues, you've got "Don't forget to bring a towel," and "I have no idea what's going on." Like his little phrases he always used to say. But you can also buy a special edition pair down as well, and the special edition pair has eyes where he's baked. So he's got like his red eyes and purple eyelids where he's like and proper stoned. So yeah, it's weird. Oh, in fact, actually, you know what happens if you step into the sun? The eyes turn different colours.
Wow!
So you look stoned when you step into the sun.
Oh, okay.
So now they're worth £70.
Yeah, I've never been a big one on trainers. I buy a pair of trainers and they last me about a year, and I'm quite happy with it. I don't mind if they don't look particularly nice and shiny and new. But I have bought 2 special edition pairs of trainers in my life, and one was Clerks Etnies, which I really liked. They had Jane, Silent Bob in the soles basically, and they said in black with white writing saying Clerks on them, and that was it really. You know, you could barely even tell that they were Clerks shoes, but I knew that's all that mattered. And then recently I bought some of the Vans Simpsons collab, but only because they were on sale. But they're itchy and scratchy. They're like bright yellow but with itchy and scratchy fighting all over them, and they're bright yellow so they stand out, but I think they look amazing. But I don't know.
And are you going to wear these, or are you keeping them?
Oh, I've been wearing them. Yeah,
right.
They're not as comfortable as my usual though, so I can't go too far.
So you wouldn't
really
do
hurt
like
my feet,
Alton Towers or anything in them?
No, probably not. No, I think that would be a bit too much until I've fully broken them in. But yeah, I don't know. Still like them. I'm quite happy with my purchase.
No, I don't blame you. I want some really. The thing is, I do, but I'm one of those that I'm quite content, and Ash hates me for it. If I get a pair of trainers, I just wear them to death. Like, so to the stage where she literally she bought me 2 pairs. I got like one for Christmas, one for my birthday, so I'll like swap them over just so they don't get ruined. But I'm still the same. I'm like, yeah, I'll just wear these ones because these were the first ones you bought me, so I'll just keep on wearing these. And I'll wear these until all of a sudden they get like ruined, and I'm like, oh, I've got a second pair now. And then I'll do that. So she'll hate me for it, but I can't help myself.
That's the thing. When you find something you like, stick with it. Exactly. Buy multiples.
Buy all of the goods.
Exactly.
That's what I plan to do. And there was something else I was going to talk about, because I know we've approached the hour mark now, so we need to wrap it up. I can't remember what it is, Dan. It's really frustrating me.
Well, something to look forward to next week.
It is, yeah. I'll remember it for next week, and I do want to talk about it because I think it goes on for a bit anyway. So
fair enough.
It's probably for the best. Talking about that, yeah, cool. I can't remember, so I'll save that one, mate, because I'm nice like that.
Fair enough. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. And on that note, since we have hit the hour and 10, as much as I would like to stay here all night and do the gabbings with you, I've got some line of duty to crack on with.
Fair enough. I've got some Nintendo 2DS XL to fix.
Yes, and also at some point you've got to tell me how far along you are in the Final Fantasy VII remake. Make me jealous.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that far. I haven't been able to play it much this last week. I'm just trying to think where I am now. Thing is, I don't know how much it goes along with the story, so I don't know. I've just been to see. It's been too long. I can't remember the character's name, but one of the girls' mum went to her house and they gave everyone pizza, and I stole her dad's Shinra ID, and then I've broke into the facility and then fought a guy on a motorbike. Does any of this ring a bell at all? Okay, cool. So I don't think very far, but at the same time, that's probably way less far in the original game, right? Because this sort of, So I don't know. I'd spent a lot of time doing all the little side missions in the town. So yeah. Anyway, it's not important. But yeah, good game. And now I've got a few other things to play. And in fact, one really quick thing, because it was a game that I was like, I don't know, shall I play it? It's on PlayStation Plus. I've heard it was all right. So Days Gone has gone on to PlayStation Plus. And I pretty much decided over the last couple of days, I'm probably not going to play it, because have you heard everything that's been coming out recently? So first of all, a sequel got cancelled, which is fair enough. But the director of the original came out and said,
"Who is your arch nemesis?" with his comment.
But basically, well, if you really wanted to, because everyone has been like, we've just played it on PlayStation Plus, really good. Oh, there should be a sequel. I can't believe they cancelled it. So he's like, well, if you really wanted a sequel, you should have bought it when it came out, when it was full price.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, that's the attitude, isn't it? And everyone, literally all the replies are just like, well, if you released a game that wasn't buggy as could possibly be, like, maybe people would have bought it when it came out. It took months for it to be fixed, apparently, and even then it's still not a particularly engaging game until you're about 70% of the way through, from what I've read. So there you go, that's what happens.
Yeah, there's a part of me there that does massively agree with him. In terms of that, not obviously I know like his game is buggy and fucked and stuff, but
exactly, if the game's broken, no one's gonna want to play it.
It is one of those, but there's so many games that have they had a proper like sequel in works and stuff like that, but because they didn't sell well at all, that they've been canned. And you're like, you know what? If people actually would have bought it, like now when the first one will pop up on like Epic Game Store or something for free, or PlayStation Plus, or Game Pass, and they're like, this game's amazing. Why didn't we get a sequel to this? Like, they ended up on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's because you went, you know what, I'm just going to play the next FIFA instead, or the next Final Fantasy instead of trying something new, or I'm going to do this instead. And, great games have just gone by the wayside because people are that obsessed in the ways that they're like,
right,
yeah, it's not that. Or
look
I'll wait
at something
like
No Man's Land, which when that launched, No Man's Sky, sorry, when that launched, it was like absolutely panned, right? People hated it. It was really buggy. It was really boring. It was really slow. What didn't deliver on anything it promised. But the developer worked at it and worked at it and worked at it to the point now where people absolutely love it. Like, I don't know anything about the how much money it's made since, but is it on its third sort of iteration now, like in terms of relaunches?
It is, and it's also been on it's on Game Pass, and it's been on PlayStation Plus like twice, I think it is.
Absolutely, but people are recognizing it and playing it loads, and but it's the fact that people didn't deem it worthy of their money back then, not because they're like, I'd rather play FIFA. It's more like because I'd rather play a game that's good.
Oh yeah, no, I understand in the ways that like the two you pointed out are probably the one of the best case scenario, like the worst case scenarios of that situation. Where like you pick two games that are like, this game's going to be amazing, and then it was shit on from a great height. But there's been several games like that under the radar that have been fucking phenomenal games, and didn't get. I
mean, absolutely, I agree.
Didn't get looked at, and they've there's just the games in the works, and then they get cancelled because the studio ran out of money, and like, we're really sorry, we'll put the story out, like on Reddit or something.
I mean, all this is coming from a Shenmue fan who is quite bitter about the fact that games didn't sell very well and we didn't get a sequel for 20 years, and now we're probably not going to get another sequel to actually come close to finishing the saga off. So I get it. I totally understand.
We are. Don't you worry about that. We are going to get Shenmue 4.
Okay.
They've stated that they're literally in the process of it. So it's in the works. It's scripts being done. Everything's been sorted for it. They've got the engine already. So at some point, probably after the anime gets worked on and more interest gets drawn, they'll be like, "Hey, here's Shenmue 4."
Fair enough. Okay.
So don't you worry about that.
All right. No,
And
I
plus-
wasn't worrying, Reg. Don't worry.
And plus, unless they release it on the PC at the same time again, like they did with the PlayStation, I'm not going to be able to have a means to play it.
True.
So that's when it will.
Well, it'll just go onto the Epic Game Store, Reg, and then you can't play that. You gotta have to boycott it.
Well, that's true. Or it could be the reason for me to get PS5.
I mean, it will be, right?
Yeah, 1,000%.
That's the excuse at that point.
1,000%.
But anyway, yeah, it's like it's the same thing for films. It's the same for games. There could be something that there might be a hardcore group of people that are just like, wow, this looks amazing. But if there's lots of people out there that just won't give them a chance, and then he'll never get the sales it needed to get a sequel or anything like that. So it's always going to happen. But I think that this case, it is, look, I know this guy and his team clearly set out to make this amazing AAA, Sony first party title, which the track record for this sort of stuff is pretty good, and I think he probably thought, right, this is going to be, it's like The Last of Us mixed, I don't know, that sort of stuff. But it didn't happen because they released it and it was really buggy and not particularly good. So don't reward that sort of stuff. I mean, people have really shown that they can make a difference with what happened to Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Granted, lots of people bought it because lots of people pre-ordered it, but a lot of people took them up on that refund option.
Yeah.
And look at all the hard work they're doing. The fact that it's been removed from the store. You can't physically buy a digital copy. You can't buy a digital copy for most systems. It's power of the people. So I don't know. It's the attitude from the maker of the game, thinking clearly that his game was far better than it was at the time. There was definitely other reasons. So, I don't know, Reg, but that's my 2 cents.
Fair it is.
Sorry. Anyway.
No.
Thanks for listening.
Apologise to me.
See you next week.
We will indeed, and hopefully you'll catch us on Friday where we play our D&D game.
Yes, you will.
Nodo D&D, where, oh boy.
Some bad stuff happened.
Some bad stuff.
Don't ruin it, Reg. They don't know.
I won't ruin it, but it's going to be very intriguing.
I'm intrigued for our next recording, to be honest. But anyway.
Tomorrow night I've been promised certain things.
Yeah. I bet he did. Right. See you next time. Bye.
See you next time. Doodles.